This is You're Too Late with Lilac Say Smash, and today we're breaking some new ground. I recently went to DDXS, or Daddy's Den 10 Supreme. It's a regional out of the Spokane area, and it was there that I encountered my first ever dedicated Smash Bros. Vendors. Now, when I think of vendors, I'm used to vendors one might see at the fair, like natural soaps, some jewelry, kettle corn, safe, but, generic stuff. And saying it out loud, though, some of those sub vendors should probably stop by and sell what they have, just as a favor to the community, but we're getting off track here. Today I have three things I want to show off from these vendors alongside where you can reach them. And starting off is something so creative, it's better shown off than really explained. We're talking about Creative Wild's Gamecube Fidget. Now to look at that. It's exactly what it sounds like. You just sort of fidget with it. You got your ABXY, your starts on the front, and on the back, you got your plus pad. And like I've said, before seeing something like this, I would have never considered creating it. So it's awesome. It comes with a keychain. If you bring your Z button in, they'll attach it there. And that's their logo there, Creative Wilds. Oh, yeah, one day I'll get it figured out. But I like this for a number of reasons. One, it feels like that rounded part of the GameCube controller. But two, at my office desk, I used to have a fidget toy in general. It's like this fidget cube thing I had. Oh, here it is. Right here. And I would just do this, right? But with this fidget toy, I can associate the GameCube controller with calming effects. And that kind of makes me want to play more. So it's honestly a win-win for everybody involved here. Again, as a keychain, you can show it off, but I'm just keeping this at my desk. This is really cool. Black was my first GameCube controller, so again, Creative Wilds and their GameCube Fidget. You can find them on Etsy. Next on my list, something equally unique, and on a technical level, it's very impressive. I'm, of course, talking about none other than Efforgreens. Let me get their business card here. Efforgreen. And their ta-da, melee character wooden portrait cards. Isn't that cool? So here's the next cool part. I got it signed by AMSA. So these are pretty thin. As you can see, it's, laser engraved, so it's not like no one chiseled away at this. It's fairly thin. For those of you wanting to have someone sign one of these, make sure you use a ballpoint pen instead of a, your typical Sharpie, because if you could see, the grain, the liquid will just sort of spiderweb out. So you want to avoid that. And honestly, as a trading card collector, I kind of want to send this in to get graded, but I don't really know who would take this in, so I got to work on protecting that myself. But Efforgreen has the entire roster of melee, along with a few other things on their Etsy. Let's see. Yeah, all their stuff's right there. Efforgreen.com, it'll link their Facebook, their Etsy, their Instagram, I believe. But this is truly unique. If I ever go to an event with a Hungry Box present, I'm going to buy a Jigglypuff. If I ever go to one where Zane is, I'm going to get a Marth one, obviously. Last but not least, we have a GameCube controller. For comparison to the one I've had modded. Isn't that nice? There's a lot to unpack here. So let's just start with the most striking feature, and that's going to be these buttons. Oh my god. These buttons, and one similar to it, were made by none other than Radsterz. I had to pick my jaw off the floor after going to her Etsy and seeing what other kinds of buttons were up for sale. Like, visually stunning isn't even the start of it. But already, in the distance, I can hear people saying, function over fashion, bruh. To which I'll remind you that competitive Smash is a mental game first. And when you lose, your head sinks. Where do your eyes go? Your controller. Tell me, how mad are you going to be when you see this fresh-ass controller in your hands? You're not. You're going to fucking smile because your controller is killing it. You went down in a blaze of glory. Look at that. You're not going to want to wait to use this in training mode after you're done. All right, enough gushing though. What good are the buttons if they're not installed? This is where Team Divine Customs, and the Nyght Mods comes in. Now Dippy, with Team Divine Customs, installed my first ever tactile Z button, so we're going to go back to my generic cube controller. And most Z buttons are kind of mushy. If there's one mod I recommend everyone get done to their GameCube controller, casual or not, like even if you just like play Mario Sunshine, get a tactile Z button. I don't even think Z is used in Mario Sunshine runs, but regardless, they should have been like that to begin with. So Team Divine Customs is the one who installed my tactile Z button. It is the most satisfying click in the world, and I'm never going to miss my jab to reverse aerial rush back air with Roy ever again. And that's just the tactile Z. Now, for the rest of my controller, Nyght Mods took excellent care of me. Onion Knight's the real deal. He uses professional grade equipment, and as you can see, produces professional grade results. This guy, I know it's not going to mean a lot to a lot of you, but this guy uses a Dremel, and I think that's really impressive because some fools out there are using their mom's nail file for certain things. So, honestly, you have to see this guy in action. He doesn't play around when it comes to quality. Honestly, I'm thinking about getting a fob next. I'm just going to let him handle it. You can find him at twitch.tv, YouTube, Twitter, and Onion Nyght is spelled Nyght. I'll admit, I'm a bit green when it comes to large Smash events, but the vendors who showed up at DDXS really changed my perspective on our community. All of us here love Smash Bros, and some of us get really creative with it. These folks need more love. Without them, I just go O2, walk around and see if strangers, play a money match or two, call it a day. That doesn't leave me much to show for. Throw in the right vendors though, and you might just leave with a good lasting impression. I'm definitely going to go to more larger events because I want to see what more vendors have to offer. That's all I got. Thanks for watching, guys.